Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that interests you, please sit back and watch this video because today, my friends, I offer you episode 58 of my podcast, Yarn Talk and All the Things. My friends, it has been about 6 weeks since I last recorded episode 57, and I can't explain or understand why it took so long to get 58 out to you, but I decided that today is that day. I planned, I organized, and so here we are, episode 58. So before I get into the podcast episode, I want to offer a huge hi, hello, and welcome to all new and returning viewers, subscribers, and members. Thank you for watching me. If you like today's episode, please hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, leave a comment for the algorithm, and then, of course, hit that notification bell to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. I do all the things, my friends. I say it all the time. I don't own the saying, but I say it a lot. So much so that I have things with it on there. So, Juan the Yarn Addict, Yarn Talk, and all the things. So, if you like all the things, consider subscribing, hang out, watch me for a while and see if you like me. Okay? So, there's that. Let me give you a brief rundown of today's podcast episode and we will get started. So, we are going to begin with admin. I have some admin-y things to share with you. Next, abandoned projects. Yes, my friends, I have abandoned projects. What am I going to do with them? So I'm going to share them with you. Sound off in the comments. Give me your opinions and suggestions and all that. I mean, I am open to anything and everything that the comments have to offer. So there is that. Next, I have whips. Now, if you have been watching me on the Whipping It with Juan, you know I have tons of whips on the hook. Now, I started out with 10 whips. I'm now down to less than 10, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you some updates and all that. So, after that, I'm going to share some finished objects with you. Yes, my friends, I have finished objects. Can you believe it? With everything that was on my hook, I have finished objects to share with you. Super excited, can't wait, and all that. And finally, plans for July. So we are in the last week of June of 2024. And so what are the plans for the month ahead? It is my birthday month. I have birthday projects to roll out and all of that. So I am super excited to share all of this with you guys. So I'm going to place you guys on a brief pause and we're going to get this podcast episode started. Okay, friends, so this is the portion of our podcast episode where we talk about all things admin. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet and to the point. So the show notes, otherwise known as the description box, that's where I keep all of the links. So my affiliate links, along with any creators that I mention, along with any tutorials that I talk about, all of that will be in the show notes for you to enjoy. So I'm going to circle back to the affiliates. So I'm an affiliate with Premier Yarns as well as Ice Yarns. And I thoroughly enjoy their products, so much so that I promote them on my community tab and I talk about them in my videos. So if you are a shopper of both of those places, feel free to use my link. It's free for you to use, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me and the channel out a great deal. I thank you in advance for at least considering it. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is my Facebook group. So I have a Facebook group. It's Juan the Yarn Addict and Friends. I am 3,300 and some strong, and we share our makes there. So whether it's a whip or a finished object or even an unfinished object, we take pictures of our work and we share. We give credit to those who have designed the work, but we use it as a source of inspiration to make sure that we never lose our crojo. And I think that's why I have always had so many whips, because I'm constantly inspired. So if you're interested in joining that group, feel free to do so. You will have to answer 4 questions once you request to join. Once you answer the 4 questions, the admins or myself will let you in. And I think you will really enjoy your time there. It's only been about 6 months since I've had that Facebook group, and I will tell you it is a very positive and uplifting place to be. So give that some consideration, and I hope to see you there. Last but not least, I have a Ravelry account. So it's called Juan the Yarn Addict, all one word, on Ravelry. And I have been uploading my patterns to that website, and I'm going to continue to do so. So if you're interested in my patterns, Go in there and favorite me, and you will be notified when new things drop under my name. So there is that. All right, so next we are going to talk about abandoned projects. My friends, I have 2 abandoned projects here. Actually, more than 2. But let's start with this one. So this is a scarf that I crocheted probably 6 months ago, maybe longer. It was around Christmas or before Christmas. No, it was around December. I crocheted this scarf. This is Loops and Threads Soft Classic in soft pink, and it took a skein and a half to do, and it is entirely half double crochet, and I ran 2 strands together. I did not tie it off. I left it as it is. I just want to show you the 2 strands there. I left it as it is because, is it too wide? I made it for one of my assistant managers at my day job, and before I decided to knot this up, I said to myself, maybe I made this a little too wide, you know? And then I thought to myself, well, I wanted to make a matching hat with this. Would it look right, you know? I questioned myself with the pink because, I mean, I've been warming up to the color. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but, you know, I am pink tolerant, if that makes any sense. Anyway, my judgment is clouded with this color, so please sound off in the comments and tell me if you think that this scarf is wide enough. And if it is, then I will go ahead and make sure that she gets this when we get into cooler weather. So there is that. And of course, I will sew in my ends. So, okay, let me put this here. All right. So, next is knitting. So I have a project here that's been sitting on the needles. This is impeccable. This is impeccable yarn. Here is my project. I told you guys I'm a baby knitter, but I have been knitting. So I used this impeccable yarn. It's 187 yards, 3.5 ounces, 171 meters at 100 grams. And the colorway here is Toasted Almond Variegated. So, yeah. And I am using 5mm circular needles. I believe these are Loops and Threads circular needles. Now, I do have better circular needles, but when I started this, I did not have better knitting needles. Now I do. So I just left this sit here because I don't like the sides. I don't know what was going on with this. I thought about continuing on, you know, because this was my practice swatch. I was practicing the garter stitch, and my sides are very wonky, so I need practice with starting and finishing. But I don't know if at this point I need to just rip it out and start over again, or keep it and continue to show my journey on how I'm improving with my knitting. So it's sat in my special basket here. I have a special basket for projects like this. So again, sound off in the comments. Should I continue? Just leave it go and work on my tension, or should I rip it out and start over again? I don't know. I haven't dropped any stitches that I know of. I know my tension, and maybe I did drop a stitch. Look at this. Whoopsie. I think I dropped something there. Or did I add something? I'm not sure. In either case, let me give you guys a better look. I think I dropped something over here. I don't know what I did. And then something over here. And maybe I lost a stitch here. So I have a few places here where I need work. Nonetheless, I'm super proud of myself for not giving up. Many times I've given up on knitting through the years. For some reason, when it comes to knitting, it just does not move fast enough for me, and I'm learning to grow my patience with the fact that these particular projects that I start, take forever. Anyway, again, sound off in the comments. Do I keep this and just continue working this and focusing on my tension, or should I just rip it out and start over again and just cast on 25 or 30 and start over? So there is that. This is the first knitting project that I've shared with you guys since, oh my goodness, it's been a while. Wow. Okay. Next, I have Tunisian. I have a Tunisian project that's been sitting in this basket forever. And this is the Tunisian hook that I'm using. It is a 10 millimeter Afghan hook. I want to say Afghan hook, but it could be one or the other. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. So yes, 10 milli, and this is my project. So this is all the simple stitch. This is the beginning. Is this the beginning? No, it's not. This is where I left off. And so this is where I began. It's beautiful. But there's a huge flaw to this that I can't figure out, and that's why I did not finish it. It's this side. So this side, I have one side that's loose, more loose than the other. So let me back up. So this side right here is perfect. This side right here is too loose. So if I lift it, I mean, you can kind of see how this side, the tension on this side is much tighter than that side, and everything that I could do to tighten this side just did not work. So to my Tunisian folks out there, what am I doing wrong? Because let me just break this down for you. So when I pick up my stitches, I go I pull through one, I chain one, and then I go down. And this is what the ends look like. So I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm supposed to go through two in the return pass, or do I go through one and then two? Because that's what I did. I went through one and then I went through two. So I'm not really sure why it's curling like this and why it's so loose on this side compared to this side. So this is the side that I do my return passes on, and it's causing this side to be a lot looser. So I'm not sure, but the stitches came out beautiful, nice and even and all the things. Love that. And the yarn is from Premier Yarns. The colorway is Bluebell, and this is what I have left from the ball band. I got this at Walmart, I believe. Yeah. So I really enjoy it. It's very soft and squishy. Sometimes I say squish. I don't know why, but it's squishy. I love it. So this was supposed to be a scarf for my mother, but I can't give it to her with one side wonky and the other side perfect. It's just not acceptable. So for sure, what I think I'm going to do is cake this back up once I unknot this. I'll cake it back up and start over again. And I'm going to continue using the 10 millimeter crochet hook for this, because I really do love the stitch definition with this size of hook. So now the ball band recommended a 6 millimeter crochet hook with this. So in Tunisian you go up 2. So technically I should have used an 8 millimeter crochet hook for this, but I went into hyper overdrive. I went all the way to a 10, and I'm here for it. It turned out really nice. This is the back side of the simple stitch. Super nice. Okay, so there is that. Now, no sounding off on this one. I already know. I gotta frog this and start over, I think. Yes, because there's no way to fix that. I'm too many rows in. So we're good here. I'm frogging this. And hopefully, by the time winter comes around again, I'll be able to give my mom a completed Tunisian scarf. So there is that. Next, okay, now this has been into the basket. This has been in the basket the longest, this project right here. So here's a hat that I made. I still have to sew in my ends. It's a very simple and basic hat. It is all half double crochet, and it is composed of 4 colors. You have the gray, the red, the green, and the cream. And this is what it looks like on me. I absolutely love the hat. It's very simple, but simple can be amazing. And for me, that's what this is. Amazing. I love it. Here's the problem. The scarf. So I got to the scarf and I said to myself, is this too matchy? Like I went in the same order. Actually, let me turn this around. So the top of the hat and the bottom of the scarf, it goes into the same color sequence. But I got all the way to here and I said to myself, should I have made the stripes smaller, to match the hat? Because I intended for it to be a perfect match. I thought to myself, since I'm running 2 strands of yarn together, it's fine to double up on the width, because it's, a scarf. And it's meant to be a lot longer and all the things. So I stopped because I wasn't sure. Now, once I've cut and knotted and all the things, I pretty much committed to this, but I am willing to reevaluate this, frog it all back, cut where necessary, and literally cut the strips in half and do more color changes. So what do you guys think? Should I frog it back and change more, or keep it as it is? So let me show you the yarn that I've been using. So this is Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling yarn, and I'm running 2 of these together at a time, like this. And this colorway here is, what is the colorway? The colorway is Pine Heather. This is Pine Heather. I love that colorway. Are you kidding me right now? I love it. It gives winter vibes. That was what I was going for. Like pine trees, the snow, cranberries, and the gray skies. That's what I was going for. So this is 3.5 ounces at 100 grams, 185 yards at 170 meters. And before I show the other colors, I only planned on using 2 apiece of each one of those colors. And once I ran out, that was it. So that's the plan, or that was the plan, until I questioned the thickness of my stripes. So there is the green. Here is the red. I have 2. I had to cake up this one because it was a mess. And this is the colorway I currently have on the hook. This is Red Heather. I love that. And then this one here is called Beige Heather. If you're noticing a pattern, the heathers. If you know me, if you've been around a while, I'm very passionate about heathered yarn. I just love it. So this is Beige Heather. And then last but not least, we have Gray Heather anti-pilling yarn. So I'm determined to finish this because of the hat. Only because of the hat. I need something to match this because I love this hat. It's beautiful. It's simple, it's understated, but it's very impactful for me. It's perfect. It's a perfect winter hat for me. And it's anti-pilling, so I don't have to worry about it, looking any kind of way. So there's that. And here's this. Of course, I'll sew in the ends if I decide to keep it like this, but again, I just wanted, let me do this. Hold on. Maybe we can give the full fantasy. Let me put this on like this, and then do one of these. Yeah, see, I like that for me. Yep, it's all the things. Okay. So it's not hard to convince myself of something that I like. It's just that when I don't like it, what do? Do I continue with it or what? Again, I want to cut the strips in half or keep them as is. I'm insecure with how this looks right now. Anyway, so there is that, and I have one more. Okay, now I've talked about this several times, but I have this purple container. I'm going to place you guys on a brief pause so that I can organize it and do all the things. And I'm going to talk about this with you guys because I may have to start over from scratch with this one. Hold on one second. Okay, so here we are. So Hirschner's had this yarn on sale for $1. No, not, it was $2 when I bought this. So I made a sweater with this. So this is Air Wool Multi. It's 3.5 ounces at 100 grams, and it is 155 meters at 170 yards. And it is 74 acrylic, 13 polyamide, and 13 wool. And they are suggesting a 6mm crochet hook, which is what I used for my project. Okay? So I purchased multiple sleeves of this to make a sweater. And here is the sweater. Oof. Okay. So front panel is done, the back panel is done. And another thing too, I lost a lot of weight since I made this. So it's already going to be too big. Anyway, look at how wide this is. I'm not that wide anymore. Oh my. I could definitely make it for somebody else, but that's not the point. The point is the sleeve. I'm so disappointed in this sleeve. Now, I frogged this back multiple times, and I just don't like the way that it is sitting. Look at this. I mean, is it something that I need to worry about? I mean, I like my work to be as high quality as possible. This side is good. It flows. I made sure that, you had the curve there, which is not always easy in crochet. But on this side here, it looks very ho-hum. It's not giving me what I need it to give me on this side. My stitch placement is off, but it was literally the only place that I could put those stitches. Again, beautiful, flawless. Love this side. This side, And I've ripped this out multiple times and started over again and tried placing my stitches in better places, and it just kept getting worse and worse. So let me flip this inside out. I'm going to flip this inside out and put it on. It's too big, but whatever. It's fine. And see, on this side, now I flipped it inside out. I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. This is the other side. Okay. I've spent many times with this out of the box, trying to convince myself that it's good. Look at this. I mean, that's not what I want for myself. I don't know. My construction's not exactly where I want it to be. Again, I was not this size that I am now when I made this. Actually, in fact, when I made this and it was just snug. So it's kind of on the big side here. Maybe not even, and you know, I still got to add the ribbing here. So there's that. But what do you guys think? These are my sides. I've come a long way with my crochet since I started this. I definitely will not make another sweater like this again, but I may have to pull this all out because I don't crochet like this anymore. I'm actually more refined than I was back then. Like I know things now that I didn't know when I did this, like how to lay the pieces together so that you can get the most out of the stitches that are available to you, without it looking like a home economics project from middle school, you know? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I start over with the sleeve? Like, I'm okay with the front and back panel. I can make that work. It's the sleeve. Like, I'm not exactly sure if I could do anything about that anyway. Like, I can do decreases to tighten this up. I know I can do that. But maybe there isn't anything I can do about how the stitches are laid out. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Okay? So, all of these projects are all of my abandoned projects. I don't count them as whips because they're not in progress. They've been sitting. So please, again, I said this multiple times, sound off in the comments and tell me what you think about these abandoned projects, because I have no problems ripping them all out. It's the fact that, like, once I do it, am I going to regret it? Am I going to say, you know, I should have worked with this a little further, pushed this a little more? That's kind of where I'm sitting at with that. So let me know what you think. All right, so again, let me place you guys on a brief pause, and we're going to jump over to the whips. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so this is the portion of our podcast episode where we discuss whips. So before I get into the whips that I'm about to show you, I do have a whip that is in transit. It's being sent back to me from my friend. So what I did was I sent my squares to a friend of mine. Her name is Penn. Hi, Penn. And she has agreed to sit down and sew in all of my ends and all of my squares. So I made originally 60 of these squares, and I decided in the 12th hour to only send 56 instead of 60, because I would have needed 64 squares to do an 8x8 kind of throw. So I decided to do 7 across, 8 down, so 56. And then I'm going to frame it with a border. So I decided to keep these squares because I have taken inspiration from Llama Mama Kayla. When she did her birthday blanket, she did 3 of these squares. I'm scooching back to show you the things. So she laid them on her table like this, and like this, and like this. She joined them here and here, and then made a blanket like this. And, you know, every day it was, she worked on it, she chatted about all the things. And so I've taken inspiration from that project that she was working on. And so I'm going to take 4 of the squares, and I'm going to do a 2x2. So 2 up at the top and 2 here. I'm going to join them in the cross, and then I'm going to go around and make a blanket that way using the colors that you see here in these squares. So thank you, Llama Mama Kayla, for the inspiration. So there is that. And when that gets done, I'm going to do another podcast episode and show these projects and things as finished objects. I love that for us. Okay, the next one that I'm going to show you is my quarter panels. Now, listen, I have been trying to get this off of my hook for the longest time, but I've had to keep putting it on the back burner because other things just keep coming up. So here are the quarter panels. I am on the 4th one. This is the 4th quarter panel, and I haven't gotten much further since the last time you saw it. But if this is the first time you're seeing it, I am using scrap cakes that I have created here on Coffee and Cake with Juan. So I take my leftover yarns from other projects and I put them on the ball winder, and I change colors instead of letting it run out and then adding another ball of a color or whatever. So I am controlling how much the color changes. And so no rhyme, no reason. I'm throwing it together. It's going to be a quarter panel scrap blanket that I shape into a diamond. So this is going to be one of the corners of the blanket. This will be another corner of the blanket, so on and so forth, and the center will be like a diamond. So there is that. Now, each quarter panel is running me 2.5 cakes. So this one was the first one that I did, and again, these were all, 2.5 cakes, give or take, So anyway, once I finish the fourth quarter panel, then I'm going to get on the camera and show you guys how I join them and how I do the modern granny border, because I intend on doing that and turning that into a tutorial, because a lot of you guys have been asking me for that. What is my take? How do I do it? So I will show you guys how to do that my way. Not that my way is any different, it's just that, I'm at that portion of the project. Why not share with you guys what I do? So there is that. Okay, so next, you guys have been seeing a lot of this one. So let me put that there and put that there. So here are the squares of my all-in-one granny. Super proud of it. So I have one skein left. Now, this is 5 skeins worth of squares. Okay, each skein had 15, give or take 1 or 2. Yeah, so 15, 30, 45, so that was 3, and then 15 and 30. So I am sitting on 75 of these squares. And I have one skein left. It's brand new. So I have 15 more to go to make the 90 that I need. And so here's that. Now, I am going to be joining my squares with Red Heart Super Saver Aaron. I have a cubby behind us filled with it. So I don't know how much of this I'm going to need, but I'm going to do the things. And I just realized right now, okay, yeah. So I thought that this and this were 2 different colors, because depending on the light, it kind of looks like a cream, but then in other lights it actually matches. So I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, in the 11th hour I'm like, it matches, because I thought that I needed to get cream instead of Aaron. But this is actually white, and this is the Aaron color. So we're good. And I'm going to use my simple join. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 2 squares, line them up like this, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and that's it. I'm not sewing in a single thing. Single crochet and chain 2. So my gameplay blanket that's on my channel, I made that blanket featuring Premier Puzzle. I showed how I join my granny squares. It's super fast, it's super easy, and it looks really nice. So I can't wait to get these all joined. So that's where I'm at with this, and I think this is an attainable goal. I think I can get this done by the end of June. Hands down, I have 1 skein left and then the join. I may actually just go ahead and join all of my squares and then do the last skein, just so that these aren't all over the place, So there is that one. Stay tuned. I can't wait to show you the finished object of that. Next, we have my moss stitch in the round. So this is where we are at with this. This was a tutorial on my channel. It was a little swatch of a situation, and I just continued working on it on the Zoom calls and things like that. So this is where we are at with this blanket. It's beautiful. Look at that. It's a piece of art. It's perfectly square. I'm flipping the blanket every round. Love this. It's one of my new favorite blankets. Not just because of the color, but because of the actual stitch. It's so beautiful. I love this. I talk about it all the time on the Zoom calls, on the lives. I love this blanket. And I don't know if that's pink, but there's lots of it in it. And I'm here for it. I love it. So anyway, I have 1 skein left. But in the last hour, I decided I want 2 more skeins on this. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to run 2 more skeins on this. It goes super fast. I'm using a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. It's going to be fine. I want it to be big. I mean, go big or go home, right? So yeah, I'm going to continue working this, and I'm going to continue just making sure that I flip every round and all the things. So there is that. All right. So last but not least of the whips is my NEM blanket. So I have this project in 2 of these baskets because I am running 2 of each color together. As you can see here, this basket, it's not the neatest basket, but it's got 2 skeins of every color. The white, the black, the brown, the purple, and the blue. I should have organized this a little neater. Maybe I still can. There we go. Okay. So that is what we are doing with this. So I'm running, I can't talk. So anyway, I am running 2 of each together with a 10 millimeter crochet hook to make this. Now the other basket is in the squirrel's nest, so I'm not going to bother you guys with that. But this is beautiful. Look at that. So I'm using red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then I'm using white, black, and brown. So there is that. And I may keep the fringe. Just trim it nice and flat. It's got character, you know what I mean? I'm going to find the shortest point and just trim it all straight across like this. So, yeah. There's that. Okay. So, those are my whips, friends. Let me place you guys on a brief pause and we'll get into the finished objects. 1 second. Okay, friends, so we are at the portion where we talk about finished objects. Yes, my friends, I do have some. And we're going to jump right into it. So this here is my asymmetrical shawl. I have shown this on lives and things, but not in a podcast episode. And so this was one of the whips that I came into June with needing to complete. So it's beautiful. So this is 100% cotton. This is the K&C yarn from Joann's. The colorway is ground. It's 3.5 ounces at 100 grams. They suggested a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. I went up to a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And there is no pattern for this. I literally started this corner here with, let me see. I started this corner here with one double crochet and a chain 2 right there. And then I just gradually increased it all the way down until I wound up with 125 stitches across. And I increased by 1 stitch in every row. Every time I turned and I ended up here, I increased it by 1 stitch. So, very nice. And then I did windows. So as I went along in my journey here, I started out with windows there, and then every 15 rows or so, I did some windows. Again, you know, there is no pattern for this. It's just when I felt like putting windows is when I gave it windows. And then here I did 3 rows. Super nice. And to tie it all in, I did windows all the way around the project here. Super nice. And then after the windows, I did a row of double crochet, and then I finished it off with a row of single crochet. Super, super nice. So this is my finished object, and I am in love with the color. I love it. I still have yet to figure out how to wear it, but that's okay. I'm just going to throw it around my neck and zhuzh it until it works, you know? So this is what it's looking like. I love it. The whole, yeah, it's good. Love this. So there is that finished object. All right, so next, I was given a challenge from Mama Wench. So she is a new channel on the YouTube streets. She's also a member of my channel. And she said, hey Juan, here's a challenge. So she sent me some Happy Mail with this letter. It says, Juan, your mission, if you choose to accept it, create something with the enclosed. Hugs and smooches, Mama Wench. Marianne, you may say my name. So she left me this note with the box of this 100% polyamide yarn. My friends, this is the worst yarn I've ever worked with in my life. Look at this. It's like working with organza, like stretchy organza. I mean, it's just, you can see through it. It's very strong, but it's very stretchy. I mean, look, it's like working with rubber bands. Okay, it's very challenging to work with, but I made a thing. I did a thing with it. So I ran that polyamide yarn with some Pioneer Woman. So I used this Pioneer Woman. This here is Teal Shades. So it's a DK weight yarn. And I ran that with all of the 4 balls of polyamide yarn she gave me. And this is what I came up with. This is what I created. So it started out with a granny square. And then I did several rows of single crochet. And then I sewed up the sides. And we have a little flap. So I don't know what you call this, but it's a thing. It's a thing because I said it was the thing. So let me see. Are we going to call this a hank holder? What are we calling this? I'm going to put some hanks in here. Okay. So it doesn't hold much, but it has a purpose, right? It was so hard to work with this yarn. It was very difficult, but I made a thing. So therefore, challenge accepted, and maybe I need to put a button here, and here, and here. I don't know. I like it. It's nice. For what it is, you know? Look, it's... Look at this. It's just... Oof. I'm leaving it there. It's giving it panache. It's giving it character. You know what I mean? I love that for us. We need character in things. So I'm going to leave it. I don't know. Maybe we'll just put hooks in it. Well, the hooks will fall out. So I don't know what we would put in this. But there's that. Okay? So, Mama Wench, I think I did the things. I didn't make anything to write home about, but I did something with the yarn. Because let me tell you, there really wasn't much to choose from. Okay, so there is that. Next, we have this. So this is another finished object that I'm going to share with you. So this here is the Dawn's beanie. So my sister from another mister, Jax, over at Jax's Creations, she created this. And this portion here is called the Jaxie wheel, the Jax wheel. It's beautiful, actually. I like it. I like it a lot. So there's that, and it's got a wide variety of stitches. So feel free to check this out. She's got a tutorial on her channel. I will link all the things in the show notes. She also has a written pattern available for you guys on Etsy if you are interested in a written pattern of this. So I used my favorite color, and this is the new yarn from Joann's. Their new variegated yarn. This is called Perplexed. So there is that. All right, next, I went ahead and made another beanie featuring stitches from my members only group. We spun the wheel, and we have a monthly challenge going on right now where We spin the stitch wheel, we come up with the stitches, and you create something, anything, using your favorite color. So these were the stitches. This is my favorite color. I decided to use a beanie, or to make a beanie, and this is what it looks like. I love it. It's all the things. I mean, I wouldn't want to wear acrylic in this heat, but maybe the fall, and it makes a great donation cap, so why not? There's that. Okay, oh wait, I gotta put this on to show you guys all the things. Gotta put the Dawn's beanie on. Very nice. Love it. I love this color. I love the variegated textures that it gives. It's so nice. All right. Next, I decided to take that same project from the members only monthly makes situation and make a rainbow version. It's not the same. It's very different layout of stitches and things, but these were the stitches. And I decided to use this anti-pilling yarn. It's called Inclusivity. I love that. The fault line isn't as visible. I mean, once I point it out, you won't be able to unsee it, but this is the fault line right here, which is fine. It's super, super colorful. Let's put it on. It's very nice. Very, very in your face. Colorful. You can pick a color. I still love the purple. So, yep. It's very nice. And I mentioned that it was anti-pilling, which is amazing. I wish all yarns were anti-pilling, but such is life. It's not the case. So there is that. Lovely. Next, I made a bucket hat. So, it doesn't really have a brim, like a wire brim or anything, but just do one of these numbers. So this here is Bucket of Kindness, and this is on the channel, tutorial for left and right-handed crocheters. It's very easy. This is 100% cotton, and this was made specifically for warmer weather. So for spring and summer, or if you live in a climate where it is warm all the time, this beanie is for you. Feel free to check this out. So this is super nice, and I use loops and threads, 100% cotton for this. And this was taupe variegated. Very nice. And I used the stitches that we spun on the stitch wheel and all the things. So it features the rice stitch, which is this whole section here, half double crochets, extended half double crochets, and single crochets right down in there. So that's super nice. So I believe that wraps up all of the finished objects. So now we're going to talk about plans for July. So as of right now, I only have a few things penciled in for July. Many things change all the time. So for right now, for July, I am focused on working my birthday blanket. So what is the birthday blanket? So the birthday blanket, again, was inspired from Llama Mama Kayla. And, she did her birthday blanket. And so I said to myself, I want to do a birthday blanket. So for July, starting July 1st, I'm going to start working my birthday blanket using Red Heart with Love in the colorway Fruit Punch. This is a vintage variegated yarn. This particular ball was 75 cents when it went on clearance. Super nice. And so I am going to be doing the moss stitch in the rectangle. Instead of a square, I'm going to do a rectangle. And I am going to highlight this yarn by using a solid. And I'm going to use charcoal. So just a few rounds in between, just to, accent this. I think they would work beautifully together. So that is the plan. And the goal is to have this done before July 31st, which is my birthday. which I definitely will be able to do. So I have 21 skeins of this yarn between myself, friends of the channel, family here on this side of the screen. Everyone's been chipping in to find this yarn for me because, as I mentioned, it is a discontinued variegated yarn. It is difficult to find. You can find a skein here, a skein there, but to be able to collect enough for a queen size blanket is very difficult to do. So I do have it. It has taken months. 21 skeins is what I have in my possession, and I'm hoping that it is enough. So this is 180 yards per ball. It's 4.5 ounces at 127 grams. So I did the math. 180 yards times 21 balls. You know, that number there alone is enough to get me the size that I want. But just to be sure, I'm going to accent this with this. So I have several skeins of this charcoal yarn. So this is Craft Smart, but it's like Loops and Thread Soft Classic. It's the same thing, just a different label. So I'm in love with this charcoal. This is one of my favorites, along with Where My Finger Is. This is Aubergine. This is like that deep dark purple. These two colors together are all the things for me. I love these two colors together. So anyway, and then to pair those two colors with this, I can't even. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. Like, if I could make everything with these three colors, I mean, there would be no need to do anything else. This is it right here. Anyway, so I digress. But this is the birthday blanket right here. Okay? So stay tuned for all the things. All right, so the next thing is I'm trying to decide whether or not Siren's Atlas should be a MAL or just something we all work on independently. As I mentioned many times, I did not get permission from the author to do a crochet along with this. Now, this goes hand in hand with me assuming that she wouldn't have had a problem with it, so long as every participant had purchased their own book or has been gifted a book from me or someone else. So the response we got was no. That was a hard pass. So this is the Siren's Atlas book. I am still planning on making this. It's just that now I'm thinking to myself, what if we made this a MAL? So for the participants who have the book, who plan on getting the book, how about make the squares and show them off in the Facebook group or on Instagram or wherever, and just show off your makes as we go. So I'm still trying to figure out the details behind this, but I'm super excited to get this started. Not really sure how we're going to make this a community thing. Again, I really thought that it wouldn't have been a problem for me to record tutorials for the squares to just show everybody how they're made. But that's a thing, and I have to respect the author, and so that's that. The final thing that I want to talk about as far as plans for July is for the summer crochet along. So every season for the first year of my channel, until I celebrate my 1-year podversary, which is in September, September 19th to be exact, I plan on rolling out a crochet along each season. So we just wrapped up the spring crochet along a few weeks ago, and so now we're in full swing on plans for the summer crochet along. So I want this one to be fairly easy, nothing too cumbersome. So I was thinking something along the lines of a motif-a-palooza, So come up with motif designs and show you guys through tutorials and things on how to put those together, and how to build a project, whether it's a throw for Boggy Creek or if it is something that you want to keep for yourself. So stay tuned for details surrounding that. If you guys have any ideas on crochet along plans in terms of like what we could do, sound off in the comments, because I'd be definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. So that is all for my podcast, my friends. Podcast 58 is now in the books. We did it. So if you enjoyed this podcast, my friends, please, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, hit the like button. Click the notifications over there to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. You'll be notified when I put out videos and when I go live and things, so I'd be super excited if you did that. Leave comments and things. So that is all I have for this podcast episode. If you enjoyed that, you heard all the things. That is all I have. So until the next one, take care, guys. Bye.